This video will give you an overview of how you can use two products in combination that you already have access to create a powerful waiting room experience. The products I'm referring to are the Visitor Prioritization Cloudlet and mPulse. As a current Visitor Prioritization customer, you're aware that it acts as a front-end shock absorber when peak traffic increases demand for those transactions that require origin processing, like shopping cart checkouts, donation pages, application subscriptions, registrations, and so forth. And mPulse provides real-time monitoring of all site traffic. When used with Visitor Prioritization, mPulse provides real-time insight into the waiting room experience, providing you the visibility that you need to make on-the-fly changes to your waiting room settings. Here's an example of an mPulse dashboard used recently to track a vaccine enrollment waiting room. The top widget shows 3 data points: page views for all users in green, allowed users in purple, and waiting room users in blue. The time frame for this view is 9 hours between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., but we could easily change the time to show the latest 1 minute of real-time data. The spikes in the graph represent the page refreshes for the waiting room lottery. In this example, it looks like the refresh time is set to 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, the waiting room page will refresh and attempt to allow users in again. The default refresh time is 30 seconds, but can be set to whatever time is best for your situation. The next row of widgets shows session information about the waiting room and allowed users, including the average session duration and length. The next 2 rows of widgets show the pages that are viewed by waiting room and allowed users. Of course, the only page for waiting room users will be the waiting room page itself, but it's useful to see the names and performance of the pages of the allowed users. This is one example of a custom waiting room tracking dashboard. Of course, this dashboard can be modified to show exactly what you want to see regarding your users. You can learn more about creating custom dashboards in our dashboard video on this same channel. But remember, again, this data is reported in real time, as is all mPulse data. Let's take a quick look at how we set up the integration between Visitor Prioritization and mPulse. The first step is to create a branded waiting room page. You can see the page that I've created here. You can get as creative as you'd like with this page, including product videos and other engaging media. Make it something that will both inform your users that they're in a waiting room, yet hold their attention. There's some essential information contained in the template file that must be included on this page. You can download the template and get other setup instructions on the Visitor Prioritization page of learn.akamai.com. Next, you'll want to create a policy that defines the rules for your waiting room. These rules define your user population and the conditions that allow them to move from the waiting room to the site. For example, you can define a policy that allows all premium users to enter the site immediately, while regular users enter the waiting room for 30 seconds with a 50% chance of then entering the site. Complete instructions for setting up your policies are also available on learn.akamai.com. Next, you'll need to add a visitor prioritization rule to your property in Akamai Control Center. As with other property rules, you'll want to define the match condition for visitor prioritization. This can be just the promotional landing page or the entire site. In this example, the waiting room is set up for just the flash sale landing page. The other important component of this setup is the instance label. This defines the name of the cookie that will be created to distinguish between waiting room users and allowed users. In this example, the cookie name will be based on the instance label flash sale. Users that meet the waiting room criteria will have a cookie created called AKAVPWR_flash sale. Users that meet the allowed user criteria will have a cookie created named AKAVPAU_flash sale. Next, you'll want to add a custom dimension to mPulse. mPulse Custom Dimensions is a very powerful feature that allows you to sort and display data in meaningful ways. One of the sources of the custom dimension is a cookie value. mPulse can read the cookie established by Visitor Prioritization to distinguish between waiting room users and allowed users. This is the foundation of the real-time reporting that mPulse provides for Visitor Prioritization data. You can set up a custom dimension by editing your app in mPulse and going to the Dimensions tab. notice an existing dimension called Domain. Click the green plus sign to create a new dimension. Enter the name, we'll call it VP Allowed. Select Cookie as the value source. Enter the name of the allowed cookie based on the name of the instance label you define in your property. And enter a regex value that will capture the value of the cookie. Enter Yes in the replacement field. Repeat this process for the waiting room user cookie. You can get a deeper understanding of custom dimensions by viewing the video on that topic on this same channel. Now that mPulse is configured to read visitor prioritization data, you can create custom dashboards similar to the one we reviewed earlier. Or you can import an existing dashboard. To do so, go to the Dashboard section of mPulse, click on the dotted menu and select Import. Locate the dashboard XML file, select Overwrite for conflict resolution. You can now open the dashboard. Locate it in the dashboard list and double-click to open. You'll now need to update the dashboard with the settings of your new custom dimension. To do so, select the widget you want to update and click the Edit icon. Then select the Filter tab. For the attribute field, select the name of your waiting room dimension and select Yes for the value. Then click Apply. Repeat the same process for the Allowed User widget. Hopefully you now have an understanding of just how easy it is to get real-time reporting data on the visitor prioritization waiting room experience with mPulse. Now that you have this insight, there's some powerful changes you can make to the waiting room experience in near real time. For example, you may want to change the waiting room refresh time, or change the percentage of users you allow into the site, or shut the waiting room down and allow all traffic into the site. All this and more is possible because of the insights provided by mPulse. Finally, the mPulse features presented here require the enterprise version of mPulse. If you're an Ion customer, you probably have the light version already, but just reach out to us if you want to set up a free trial of mPulse Enterprise and give this integration a try. I hope you found this information useful. Let us know if you have any suggestions or want additional videos on this or any other topic.